Platoon, directed by the visionary filmmaker Oliver Stone, is a seminal war movie released in 1986 that's celebrated for its raw, unflinching portrayal of the Vietnam War. It delves into the harrowing experiences of a young soldier named Chris Taylor, played by Charlie Sheen, as he grapples with the brutality, moral ambiguity, and camaraderie of war in the dense jungles of Vietnam. While it's known for its powerful storytelling and iconic characters, it also boasts a treasure trove of behind-the-scenes and lesser-known fun facts. Join Facts First as we present the controversial scene that was cut from Platoon. If this classic war movie leaves you wanting to try your hand at high-stakes military strategy, then you'll want to check out the sponsor of this video, Conflict of Nations. Conflict of Nations is a free, online PvP strategy game. You choose a real country to lead during World War III, while you fight up to 128 other players in real-time tactical combat. These games can take weeks to complete, allowing for deep levels of strategic planning. You're in control of the strategy. Choose to forge alliances with other players, or declare war on your neighbors to take over the world. Conflict of Nations is available on both PC and mobile devices, and you can play with the same account across all devices. If you click the link in the description, you can start playing today and get an exclusive gift, which includes 13,000 gold and a 1-month premium subscription for free. First-hand knowledge. Platoon is a war film that offers an authentic portrayal of the Vietnam War, and its director, Oliver Stone, drew heavily from his own experiences as a soldier during the conflict. Stone served as an infantryman in the 25th Infantry Division and fought in some of the most brutal battles of the war, including the infamous Battle of Ia Drang. His first-hand knowledge of the war's horrors and complexities informed the film's narrative and characters, giving it a unique level of realism and authenticity. Sheen's casting. Charlie Sheen's casting as the lead, Chris Taylor, was a deliberate move made by Oliver Stone to enhance the film's relatability. At the time, he was a relatively unknown actor, and this anonymity allowed audiences to immerse themselves more fully in Taylor's journey from an idealistic young soldier to a battle-hardened warrior. Casting a major star could have overshadowed the character and detracted from the film's realism. Filming location. The decision to film Platoon in the Philippines instead of Vietnam was primarily due to practical considerations, including budget constraints and safety concerns. The Philippines offered lush jungles and landscapes that closely resembled Vietnam, making it a cost-effective alternative for recreating the war's setting. Additionally, by the mid-1980s, the relationship with the United States and Vietnam was still strained, making it difficult to secure access and cooperation from Vietnamese authorities. The Philippines provided a convincing backdrop for the film, though, and the production team's dedication to authenticity ensured that Platoon captured the essence of the Vietnam War convincingly. Sergeant Elias. One intriguing aspect is the character development of Sergeant Elias, played by Willem Dafoe. Originally written as a more conventional, villainous figure, Dafoe's casting led to a significant reimagining of the character. His unique presence and ability to convey both vulnerability and strength on screen inspired Oliver Stone to reshape Sergeant Elias into a more complex and sympathetic character. This decision added layers of depth to the film as audiences found themselves torn between the contrasting personas of Sergeant Elias and Sergeant Barnes, played by Tom Berenger, who represented the darker side of the war. Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner was initially offered the role of Sergeant Barnes before it eventually went to Tom Berenger. Costner's decision to decline the role was influenced by his own concerns about the project's dark and challenging subject matter. He chose to focus on another war film, No Way Out, which was a more conventional thriller. While this choice was pivotal in Tom Berenger's career, it's intriguing to consider how differently the character might have been portrayed had Costner accepted the role. Production schedule. The swift 54-day production schedule was quite remarkable, especially given the film's complex and intense scenes. The tight timeline was partly necessitated by budget constraints, but it also added to the movie's gritty and raw feel. The cast and crew faced numerous challenges during filming, including unpredictable monsoon rains that flooded the set, destroyed equipment, and created difficult working conditions. But Oliver Stone's determination to accurately depict the Vietnam War experience and the team's commitment contributed to the film's success. War Trilogy. Platoon is the first installment in what is known as Oliver Stone's Vietnam War Trilogy, which explores different aspects of the war and its impact. Following the success of Platoon, he continued his examination of the war with Born on the 4th of July, based on the true story of Ron Kovich, a paralyzed Vietnam vet turned anti-war activist, and Heaven and Earth, which delves into the experiences of a Vietnamese woman during and after the war. Casting unknowns. The decision to cast relative unknowns was a deliberate choice by Stone to maintain authenticity. Notably, Charlie Sheen, Johnny Depp, and Forrest Whitaker, among others, were relatively early in their careers when they appeared in the movie. Johnny Depp. Speaking of which, Johnny Depp was an actor who would go on to become a major Hollywood star, but he had a small, uncredited role in Platoon. He played the role of Lerner, a translator who appears briefly in the film. While his part was minor, it's fascinating to look back and recognize that this was one of his earliest roles in a film that would become a classic. Challenging conditions. The challenging conditions that the cast and crew faced during production mirrored the hardships endured by soldiers during the Vietnam War. To capture the essence of the war realistically, the production team lived in primitive conditions while filming in the Philippines. They were exposed to the same elements, rough terrain, and basic amenities as soldiers would have encountered during the conflict. Chronological order. Filming Platoon in chronological order was a deliberate decision made by Oliver Stone to allow the cast to experience the progression of the war along with their characters. This unique approach added to the authenticity of their performances as it mirrored the emotional and psychological transformation that soldiers underwent during their tours of duty in Vietnam. As the film's narrative unfolded, the actors could draw upon their evolving understanding of the war and their characters' arcs, resulting in more nuanced and impactful portrayals. Deleted scenes. While Platoon is celebrated for its gripping portrayal of the war, there were several scenes deleted from the final cut. Here are a few notable ones. The cavalry attack. One of the deleted sequences featured a dramatic cavalry attack where soldiers ride on horseback into a battle zone. Oliver Stone decided to remove the scene as it felt too reminiscent of classic Hollywood war films and didn't align with his goal of depicting the Vietnam War in a more realistic and gritty manner. The village raid. Another deleted scene involved the platoon raiding a Vietnamese village. Although this sequence showcased the harsh realities of war and the impact on civilians, Stone opted to remove it to maintain a more focused narrative centered on the soldiers' experiences. Chris Taylor's flashbacks. Originally, the film had more extensive flashback sequences that explored Chris Taylor's life before he joined the Army. These flashbacks delved deeper into his motivations for enlisting, but were ultimately trimmed to streamline the narrative and maintain a sense of immediacy in the war zone. More character development. Several scenes that provided additional character development for members of the platoon were left out. These moments would have offered further insight into the personalities and backgrounds of the soldiers, but were sacrificed to keep the film's runtime manageable. Some extended battle sequences were trimmed to maintain the pacing of the film. While these scenes may have added more action, Stone was focused on the psychological and emotional toll of war, so he prioritized character-driven moments over extended combat sequences. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite aspect of the movie? Let us know in the comments section below. Thanks again to our sponsor, Conflict of Nations. Engage in epic battles and take over the world. Click the link in the description to start playing today and get your exclusive gift, which includes 13,000 gold and a 1-month premium subscription for free.